Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Flight Podcast. My name is Jacob Shanker.
And I'm Andrew Thomas.
Shut up and sit down.
So, how have you been, my man?
I've been pretty good, I had a nice weekend. You have a good weekend?
I had a pretty good weekend.
Very
I
nice.
saw you. That was good.
I did see you. That was good. Yeah, now the man is finally back, and now we can actually hang out instead of having to FaceTime all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, it's good stuff. And now even now that you're back, which is perfect timing because Cold War, that's
Call
free.
of Duty Cold War.
If you don't know, and if you play Call of Duty, download Cold War because it's a great game, I gotta say.
Yep. Your free access ends March 5th.
Which
Go download it. Don't
gonna-
worry, we're not getting sponsored or anything. Promise.
Nope.
Swear.
Nope. But
We just love the game. It's fun.
me and Andrew are gonna be grinding this entire week
Yep.
on the game.
He knows I'm better than him.
Okay.
I'm better than him.
Sure. All right. Why don't we? So for today's episode, we're pretty much just going to be giving our early award.
Mid-season.
Our mid-season awards predictions, as well as some of our awards that we've gotten. So for the basic one, we're going to start with MVP.
Yep.
Who you got?
This is a clear one, in my opinion. I think it's Joel Embiid, best seed in the East. He's averaging 30. His PER is historic. I think I don't know exactly what it is, but it's one of the best in NBA history. It rivals Wilt, Michael Jordan. Ridiculous. And he's my MVP hands down. I thought the media would give it to LeBron, but LeBron has been a little bit passive since Anthony Davis has been gone. And they're not the number one seed in the West. Obviously, the Jazz are doing really good, but I think it's Joel Embiid.
I think it's Joel Embiid also. I mean, this is probably the first time I can tell you. I think since LeBron since I've pretty much become a basketball fan, this is the first time where I can tell you that I genuinely don't think LeBron should get MVP. Which for Andrew, I think that for me, that's saying a lot. Would you agree?
It is saying a lot because this man will stand by LeBron's side no matter what. He finally got off LeBron's freaking shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is. I'm still on the LeBron train. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's the GOAT.
He's not the GOAT.
He is
not the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
Posts, please. We have been waiting on this for months. We will be doing our Michael Jordan LeBron GOAT debate soon. It's gonna happen.
We will.
He's been holding this off. He's scared.
I've been holding this off. Okay. We're
You're scared. You know you're gonna lose.
Fine. The next podcast, so this is what it's gonna be. Next podcast is gonna be LeBron versus MJ.
What if LeBron drops like 10 points next game? Or no. What if we need to cover the current NBA?
What if he what?
What if we need to cover the current NBA? What if some big stuff goes on?
Are you too scared? Is that what I'm hearing? You're just too scared?
You're the one that's been holding this off for months.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, 100%. There's absolutely nothing bad about his game right now. He's completely dominating the NBA in every way, shape, and form. Completely doing much better from last season. And I think a big reason as to why he's doing so well is Doc Rivers.
I think so too. Doc Rivers is a great coach for Joel Embiid's system.
Yes, I think Doc Rivers is probably going to be a candidate for Coach of the Year because of how well he's able to do with the 76ers and getting Joel Embiid to do what he needs to do, Seth Curry what he needs to do, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, everyone on that team.
Yep.
All right, so now
let's go on. You go. Sorry.
Rookie of the Year.
I think this one is probably going to be close to unanimous. But it might not be unanimous because it's Tyrese Halliburton, but it's guaranteed LaMelo Ball, unless he gets injured. LaMelo Ball leads rookies in almost everything for totals. Per game, he's showing out, doing great. One of the reasons why the Hornets are close to 500. He's just been absolutely phenomenal. And I think that if anyone says that it's anybody else, like, I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I think it's close to unanimous LaMelo Ball. I just said that. There's no way it's anyone else.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's completely unanimous. That's LaMelo Ball. He is. He's very different than certain players that we've seen. I mean, we've seen players like Ben Simmons, and I mean, he's a very close comparison to Ben Simmons. I think in the NBA, that's the biggest comparison you can give. But I feel like he's got a different like style in the way that he plays. I can't put my finger on it. I think it's gonna take a little while for me to a few more years, and maybe even just a few more months, just to figure out what it is. But there's something about him that says he's different.
Yes,
He can do everything.
literally everything. We
He
thought he was going to be a bad defender. He's a decent defender.
Yeah. In terms of rookies, right? He's leading in points. He's leading in assists. He's leading in rebounds. He's also leading in steals. And I'm
And
pretty
he's
sure
close to blocks.
he's top 10 in blocks.
I think he's top 5 in blocks for rookies.
Yeah, but in terms of totals, he's first in everything. And he's also shooting well. So, like, if he doesn't win it, I'm sorry. What? Like, I don't even think it's close. Like, Tyrese Halliburton is great. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a
But
great player.
he's not that close to LaMelo Ball.
He's
I,
not.
I, I think that he's the reason why LaMelo won't get unanimous.
Maybe that might be it, but I strongly believe that LaMelo will, or I hope that he will get unanimous.
Same. I hope so.
Yep.
Let's move on. Defensive Player of the Year. I see that you have a different person than me.
Mhm.
Mine's Rudy Gobert, number 1 seed in the West, leads in defensive field goal percentage. I think it's like 41% against opponents.
Mhm.
Defense, he's leading in defensive rating. The Jazz have one of the best defenses also.
Yeah. Um, all right. The reason, well, I understand why it's Rudy Gobert. I mean, he's got a ton of
He's
blocks.
also averaging almost 3 blocks. Mad.
Yeah. He's got a ton of blocks. He is doing really well against his opponent, and it's very hard to get past him. But the reason I don't say Rudy Gobert, and the reason I'm saying, I mean, I think it's very close. I feel like you can go back and forth on it. I'm not all
I
in
think
on
it's
Anthony
not
Davis.
very close. I think it's relatively close.
No, yeah, I think it's pretty close.
So I think the
But,
person you picked is number 2.
yeah, but I think when Anthony Davis, the person I picked was Anthony Davis, and I think when he comes back, seeing how he's going to play the rest of the season is going to see if it's going to change my mind or not. But the reason I'm saying Anthony Davis is for the fact that he also has one of the best defensive ratings. I'm pretty sure besides like the last game or the last 2 games, it's what brought his defensive rating up. It's 102, and before he was tied with Rudy Gobert for 101. He has 1.3 steals, 1.8 blocks. He's doing everything. It's like nobody can get past him. And the major thing for me as to why I have it is the Lakers when Anthony Davis was in, the Lakers had the best defense in the league. There's nothing you can argue with that. The Jazz obviously are great. The Knicks are even good on their defense, but the Lakers have undoubtedly the best defense in the league. And without Anthony Davis, what's their defense like?
Eh.
Average?
Yeah, but how's the
Yeah.
defense for the Jazz without Rudy Gobert?
I mean, they
Horrible.
still have
No
players.
rim protection. No rim protection.
I mean, that's true, but also, what's it called? Montrezl Harrell. He's on the Lakers, and he's a rim protector, and they're still not as good.
Not a rim protector. He's 6'7".
He's he plays a center, okay, or power forward.
6'7". He's a bad
Okay,
defender.
but
He is
yeah,
not a rim protector. I am sorry.
he's not a rim protector like Rudy Gobert and Anthony Davis, but
Yeah, but it's like one block.
but he plays that position.
Okay, but he's
Plays
still
that
a
role.
horrible rim protector. He's terrible.
Okay. But I mean, and for me, it goes back and forth, and I'm not all in on Anthony Davis, like I said. But for me, right now, it has to be him.
Very debatable. Extremely debatable.
Okay. All right. All right. Most improved player.
Christian Wood, hands down, the best most improved player by far. There's no one better.
100%. I mean, the
He's
man.
averaging 20 and 10. Man's literally brings the Rockets to 500. They literally lose him, and they lost, I think, 9 in a row.
Yeah.
After they lost him, he's so good.
Yeah. I mean, the Rockets are not a good team without him. They're a terrible team without him. He's I mean, even last year, the end of last year when he was on the Pistons, you saw that spark of how good he was going to be.
Yeah, you didn't know if it was a fluke or not, though.
Yeah,
Now we know it's not a fluke.
it's not a fluke. He's obviously doing insane. And he's going to, when he comes back from his injury, hopefully he'll continue to do as well as he's been doing.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't
no
think,
playoffs for the Rockets this year, though.
no,
They had a chance with Christian Wood, but it's a no this season.
no. I mean, the only other player, if let's say hypothetically Christian Wood comes back and he just starts to do bad for some reason, the only other player that I would say would have a chance at getting it is Jeremy Grant.
Possibly.
But
Possibly.
but right now I don't have Jeremy Grant. I have Christian Wood as the clear winner.
Yes. I agree with that. But let's go to Coach of the Year. And in my opinion, this is clear cut. But it can be close. It can.
Mhm.
I think it's Tom Thibodeau, the New York Knicks coach.
Mhm.
He's one of the best coaching staffs. Because of him, it just shoots right up. Julius Randle is now an all-star. Last year, he wasn't. He's been putting up good stats last year, but this year it's way better. He improved their defense, their offense, Randall, obviously. And the Knicks are the 4th seed right now in the East. The 4th seed. The Knicks are the 4th seed behind the Nets, the Bucks, and the Sixers. 3 elite teams. I'm sorry. This is a wrap-up for me. This has to be the next year.
It has to. I mean, this is finally the Knicks getting their shot. Since the 2012-2013 season, the Knicks are finally getting a shot in the playoffs.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't know how he did it because it's the really only thing that they got was Derrick Rose. They didn't really change that much in the offseason. I mean, they got Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
Toppin.
And Toppin's been terrible.
He has not.
Absolute garbage.
He's been
If they took Halliburton, the Knicks would be so good.
They would. I mean, I think they'd be more or less the same right now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean, you think they'd be in
Halliburton? I don't think so.
I mean, you think they'd be in the top 3 seed in the East?
No, but I think they'd win more games.
They'd probably win more games.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, obviously, the big reason why they're here is the defense, right? Because their offense, like, even though Julius Randle is really good, their offense overall is not good.
They have RJ Barrett, who's a great scorer, but that's about
He's a
it.
good scorer, but the problem with him is he's also a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's been getting better at that through the season.
He's been getting better at it. I mean, he just had a good game this game, but he also he'll go from having 30 points to having like 3. He's got to stop doing that. Like
yeah, but then also those games Randall steps up and helps them win.
That is true. That is true. But it's they can't have Randall doing that all the time.
Yeah. Well, obviously they also can.
They
Clearly.
can. But, I mean, after a while, it's going to be very tough for him to do it because it's a lot of work trying to do it. There's very
obviously, but it's a lot of work being an all-star too.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean, Tom Thibodeau, but the only coach that I would think would come close or would definitely come in second is Quinn Snyder.
Me too. I agree. I think he's a close second. Not that close though, obviously. As I said, I think Thibodeau has it. He could have it wrapped up soon if the Knicks keep this up. But Snyder, number 1 in the West. Who thought the Jazz would be in the number 1?
They're number 1 in the NBA.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They didn't change that much either.
No, they didn't.
Their team. They barely changed anything. In their last 10 games, they're 8-2. That's unbelievable.
Mitchell's been on a tear.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the Jazz, for Sixth Man of the Year, I have Jordan Clarkson, and I believe
I also have Jordan Clarkson.
I mean, he's doing things that a starter does. He's putting up numbers that a starter does, right? Getting 20 to almost 20 points per game.
He's also leading in free throw percentage.
Yeah, he's doing. She's shooting great. Defense is not bad. I mean, overall, he's just a great player, and there's nothing about his game that's like, oh yeah, he's terrible at this. It's not.
Yeah. He's good. He's very good.
Yeah.
And if you need him to start, they can start him. They'll probably have him in at, I don't know, probably shooting guard, and then they'll probably put Mitchell at the point. But you also have Mike Conley too.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options for this team that you can run with. I mean, because they have Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bogdanovich, Joe Ingles, Derek Favors, Rudy Gobert, and Jordan Clarkson.
Those are 7 very good players, very
Yeah.
solid all around. Not to mention, Clarkson's PER is also 19, which is good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But yeah, let's move on to the most overrated player. I think this is a unanimous award. But by the way, we're going to start getting into our own custom awards.
Mm-hmm.
This is unanimous for me. Trey Young is hands down the most overrated player. He's not efficient. He's a good playmaker. He's very good, but he's not scoring as well as he did last season.
Terrible defense.
Yeah, the worst defender in the league. I still think that even if stats don't prove much,
he's gotten better. I'll give him that, but he's still terrible.
Yeah, his PER is 23, which is good, and he's averaging 27, but 37 from 3 on 7 attempts and 43% from the field, only 46% from 2. That's bad. And his efficient field goal percentage is only 50.
Yeah. And also he's doing the thing that Steve Nash hated, which was drawing fouls. Pretty sure he's second in attempted fouls this year? First.
Against Embiid. But Embiid's a center, so that's pretty much a given.
Yeah.
He's averaging 10. And no, Embiid's averaging 11. Trey Young's averaging 10.
Yeah. So
that's ridiculous.
I mean,
this is someone. Sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say this is very tough. It was very tough for me to pick. I mean, I think I'll have to lean towards Trey Young because there's just a few other players where I'll say they're a bit overrated or like that. I mean, if you were to tell me who's the most overrated player of all time, I think it's Draymond Green.
Well, Draymond's been doing really good this month. He's leading.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm not saying, because if we're just talking about this year, I don't think it's been Draymond Green because he's been
in the past few years. Draymond's been overrated, but in Draymond time, Draymond was good.
Yeah, I mean the reason I say Draymond was also overrated for just one of the most overrated of all time is because in the 2010s, a lot of people thought that he was the best defender of the decade. And
it's Anthony Davis.
Absolutely. Either Anthony Davis or no, I think it's Kawhi.
No, it's Kawhi actually. It's Kawhi.
Yeah. It's Kawhi. Kawhi and Anthony Davis were the two.
Yeah, Kawhi is the 2-10 defensive player of the year, and he should have won 3.
Mm-hmm.
He should have beat out Draymond Green actually.
Yeah. But this year, Trey Young was probably my pick. I mean, the other player that I would consider is Pascal Siakam, just because the only move that man has is this just spinning.
Yeah,
that's it. He has no.
It's not great anymore. He was great with Kawhi.
He was fine last season even.
Yeah, until the bubble.
Until the bubble hit, and just all of a sudden, he just started to do terrible for some reason.
Yeah, I honestly, I really don't understand why.
I don't know either. It was crazy, but. Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next award that we had was most underrated player.
I think this one is clear in my book.
All right.
Now stats don't really show it, but I think DeMar DeRozan is the most underrated player. He's averaging 20. He's averaging 7 assists. 50% from the field. He's not a great 3-point shooter. 90% from the free throw line. And the Spurs are what? The 5th seed in the West? The 5th.
Mm-hmm.
People don't look at the Spurs. They don't view them like and not to mention DeMar DeRozan's offensive rating is 127. That is
really good.
Freaking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how he isn't leading the league in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not in my opinion. By stats. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think definitely DeMar DeRozan. I think for me it's kind of more or less, I don't know if at a tie, but the only other player that I really have with him is Malcolm Brogdon, because of the fact that, all right, DeMar DeRozan is doing really well, but he's also the first option. I think you have to put Malcolm Brogdon into account that he's also the things that he's doing. He's the second option, right? Over 21 points per game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. His shooting is pretty good, right? He's shooting 44, 38, and 91. His defense is not that good. I'll give him that.
No, not really.
But besides that, he is a great player, and
Yes.
he's been doing really well in the Pacers. They're fifth now in the
Yeah,
East.
something like that. Or I think they're eighth right now. But if they win a game, they'll be fifth.
Yeah, the East is crazy right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
freaking
ninth, but it's all completely close. So I'm saying they're fifth in
ridiculous.
my book. Um, but yeah, I'm happy with either DeMar DeRozan or Malcolm Brogdon. Both of
Yep,
them, I
I
think
think it's DeMar DeRozan though. Gordon Hayward has also been very underrated.
he has been very underrated. Also, Terry Rozier.
Yes, I agree. A lot. The
Just,
Hornets are an underrated team,
just the Hornets. I don't think they'll make the playoffs because they just don't have enough.
but
But
they're underrated.
they're underrated. I think next year or 2 years they'll be able to make the playoffs.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Let's hit on to the most overrated team. And again, it's different.
Hmm.
What do you think is? Who do you think is the most? Can't speak. Overrated team.
Um, I gotta go with the Mavericks. Right. The reason I'm saying the Mavericks is because they're not. It's not like they're doing terrible. It's not like they're the worst team in the NBA, but they're ninth. Right. I honestly expected them to be in the top 5 seed in the West. Right. They had Luka Doncic, who everyone, and I'm telling you, everyone thought was going to be MVP. Kristaps Porzingis, who has been a great. He was great last year. We thought he would continue to be great this year. And just overall, the entire team, right? They did well in the playoffs against the Clippers. They got 2 games against them. I honestly think if Porzingis was in, they may have lost the series.
I don't think so.
I think it would have been a better chance of the Mavericks winning because they've
Well,
got
yeah, but I don't think
a
the
lot of
Mavericks
the
would have
games.
won.
A lot of the games are very close.
Well, yeah, but some of them were also blowouts by 40.
That's true. But I mean, I just expected this year the Mavericks to do better, especially on the backs of Luka Doncic. I'm not saying that Luka Doncic is doing god awful, but he could be doing so much better. The entire team could be doing so much better because they have a great all around team.
Yeah, they do. They have great offense. Pretty bad defense though.
Yeah. So who you got for your most overrated team?
I got the Pelicans. I
Nice.
am sorry. If you are not winning, but you are still considered a good team, you're overrated. They've won 42% of their games. That's shambolic. That is horrible. I'm sorry. Zion, they have great offense, horrible defense, absolutely horrible. And I'm sorry, but people thought that this team was going to make the playoffs too. But like, there's just, it's just frustrating to think that people think of the Pelicans so highly. They have Zion, who's also pretty overrated, but he's been good. But
They have terrible coaching. I think that's the biggest
I
problem.
think that's it too. I think they shouldn't have gotten rid of Alvin Gentry.
They have terrible coaching. It's made their team worse that they fired Alvin Gentry. I mean, they just don't have enough for some reason. They have so much star power. And yeah, I understand why you have Pelicans as well, but it's just definitely not enough. All right, let's go
Yeah,
into most underrated team. Who you got?
underrated team is the Spurs, obviously, with DeRozan. They're the fifth seed. People aren't taking into account how good DeJounte Murray's also been. Phenomenal defender. I think he had like 7 or 8 steals in a game.
Hmm.
But there's really nothing much to say. It's just like DeRozan. People aren't taking into account the fact how good the Spurs have been.
Yeah,
Pop has been great a coach, as usual.
yeah, the Spurs have been very good. For me, the most underrated team is the Knicks. I never thought in a million years I would be saying that the Knicks are good. I never thought
Especially under Dolan.
especially under Dolan, that I could tell you the Knicks are good. And we talked about it before, so I'm not going to talk about it as much. Um, I mean, just I never expected them to be the 4th seed. I never expected them to even have a winning record. Um, I mean, it's they have a great team. We already talked about it before, so I'm not going to get into it, like I said. But they have one of the best defenses in the league, so that's why I got
It's just
the
so
Knicks.
funny to think that you're saying all this about the Knicks from last year. The Knicks are so bad. Oh my god.
Well, that's why I'm saying they're the most underrated.
Yeah, they're really
Nobody
underrated.
thought about this. Nobody thought about this, that they would be like this. It's literally all Tom Thibodeau.
Oh boy. Yeah, and Julius Randle, obviously.
Yeah.
To our last award, most disappointing player. I
Mhm.
think it's John Moran. he has not improved this season. Not at all. The Grizzlies have been worse too.
Yeah. I mean, I think John Moran has struggled. I mean, he also had that injury at the beginning of the season, but I don't think that really had a giant impact on him. But
I don't think so.
I think if he does the same next year, then he's got to get better. I mean, he's gotten slightly better. I'll give him that, but it's not something like to say upon. But for me,
Yeah.
it's Luka Doncic. And I don't want to go into an entire rant of Luka Doncic because we could have a whole episode of me just ranting about Luka Doncic because I don't want to do that. And I don't also want to say that I like the guy. I love Luka Doncic. I love watching him play. Andrew knows that game against the Mavericks was probably one of the greatest games that I've ever seen in my life. I say it to him all the time, and he knows. But
I do know.
yeah, he's a phenomenal player, but he's been probably the most disappointing for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, everyone thought he was going to be MVP. I said that before. I've been saying it a lot.
He was the front runner.
He was the front runner, and he was the predictor. No one can tell me with a straight face that Luka Doncic is a top 10 player in the league. There's no way that you can convince me that he should have been an all-star starter as well.
Damian Lillard should have gotten that.
I think he's a top 15 player, but I can probably name 10 players, 11 players, 12 players better than him.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
He's just fallen off, right? It's not he needs to do better. He needs to be able to be more consistent.
It's disappointing.
Get his team to more wins. Shoot better. Be more efficient all around. It's just sad. So that's my pick, Luka Doncic.
Yep. Well, that's
all for today, everyone.
Feel free to comment down below what your thoughts are on the Flight Podcast's Midseason Awards.
Tune into the next episode on Friday. See you guys next time.